Well, good morning, folks. Jason here from God Conversations. It's been a little while since I've done a video. God's just been showing me so much. And I want to talk to you about Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 12, where Saul is anointed as king. But before I get there, I want to talk about how God changes leaders. And let's talk about Eli really quickly. Eli had two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, and they were wicked men. They would sleep with the women in the temple or in the tabernacle. They would abuse them. They would take the part of the sacrifice that they wanted, not the one part that God chose. Very wicked. And there was a young woman named Hannah who didn't have any children. She prayed to the Lord for a child. God gave her a child named Samuel, and Samuel grew up under Eli. And Eli was basically his father, even though his mother and father were, they were there. They came once a year to see their son. But Samuel grew up in the presence of the Lord. And Samuel had sons, and they were wicked sons. And they were after unjust gain. There's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with making a lot of money. There is something wrong in making unjust money by cheating people and defrauding people and extorting people. That's unjust. Now, because of that, the people got upset and they demanded a king. And God said to Samuel, don't be upset. They haven't rejected you. They rejected me. And so the Bible says both of these things. That God chose Samuel, and then God chose Saul. And Samuel says to the people of Israel, you have chosen Saul. It's both and. And I want you to look at something here, because it's a lot deeper than you might think. And we are in 1 Samuel chapter 12. And we will start in verse 6 and go on from there. And Samuel said to the people, the Lord is witness, who appointed Moses and Aaron and brought your fathers up out of the land of Egypt. Now therefore stand still, that I may plead with you before the Lord concerning all the righteous deeds of the Lord that he performed for you and for your fathers. When Jacob went into Egypt and the Egyptians oppressed them, then your fathers cried out to the Lord, and the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, who brought your fathers out of Egypt and made them dwell in this place. But they forgot about the Lord their God, and he sold them into the hand of Sisera, commander of Hazor, and into the hand of the Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab, and they fought against them. And they cried out to the Lord and said, we have sinned, because we have forsaken the Lord and have served the Baals and Ashtaroth. But now deliver us out of the hand of our enemies, that we may serve you. And the Lord sent Jerubbaal and Barak and Jephthah and Samuel, and delivered you out of the hand of your enemies on every side, and you lived in safety. And when you saw that Nahash, the king of the Amorites, came against you, you said to me, no, but a king shall reign over us. When the Lord your God was your king. And now behold, the king whom you have chosen, for whom you have asked, behold, the Lord has set a king over you. If you will fear the Lord and serve him and obey his voice and not rebel against the commandment of the Lord, and if both you and the king who reigns over you will follow the Lord your God, it will be well. But if you will not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then the hand of the Lord will be against you and your king. Now therefore stand still and see this great thing that the Lord will do before your eyes. Is it not the wheat harvest today? I will call upon the Lord that he may send thunder and rain, and you shall know and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the sight of the Lord, in asking for yourselves a king. So Samuel called upon the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that day, and all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. Now, I live on the Canadian prairies. You don't want that kind of storm at harvest. It will destroy your harvest. But I want you to look at when this harvest is. The wheat harvest is directly after the barley harvest. And what feast is at that time? What Jewish feast is at that time? Do you know? It's the Feast of Booths, or the Feast of Tabernacles. Why is that important? When you look in the New Testament, Jesus came riding into Jerusalem on a donkey on what we call Palm Sunday. And that is the Feast of Booths. Now, what is God saying here? Remember, God chose Saul. At the same time, the people chose Saul. And so God gave the people what they wanted. And through this sign of thunder and lightning and rain during the Feast of Booths, during Palm Sunday, God is saying, this is not the king I chose for you. This is not your Messiah king. We need to be very careful. God will give you the desires of your heart. Just like God gave the Israelites the desires of their heart. But one thing you need to really focus on is, are your desires God's desires? And God is saying, this is not the king I want for you, but it's the king you want. Have him. That should be pretty scary. When you're looking and praying and asking God for your provision, are you asking God for his desire for your life? And his desire for your provision, and his desire for your leading? Are you asking God to fulfill your goals? Or are you asking God to show you his goals so you can fulfill those? His goal, God's goal, we see that in Deuteronomy, God's plan was always to have a king. And we see further on in 1 Samuel that that king would be David. And through the line of David would come Messiah, Jesus Christ. It was never Saul. Are you trying to fulfill your goals? Or you want to fulfill God's goals? It's time we start seeking God get down on our face and ask God, what are your plans? Where are you working? How can I join you? Let me put my goals aside. Don't give me what I want. Give me what you want. Have a good day.